And we're live.
Whoa. Hi, everyone. It's Christine Harrington, the Savvy Sales Lady. And boy, do we have a dynamite 2023 happening in the Savvy Sales Lady community. Today, I am with Wes Wyatt.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Wes, thanks for joining us. And in case you have not noticed, I have a list. So sometimes I have to accentuate words.
Well, I have a stutter, so that's okay.
So why is Wes here with me today? Because he is my new digital marketing expert, and he will be hosting these shows on a weekly basis for me. He's doing all the background work, and he's got all this stuff that he's got planned for the Savvy Sales Lady community. So, Wes, do you want to talk about yourself a little bit and your business? I'd love for people to hear about you.
Sure. I have a very simple elevator speech. Took me forever to get it down to the 10 words that they always tell you to get them down to. But in a nutshell, Christine, I coach people to sell themselves, not what they sell. I mean, that's about as simple as I can make it.
And you have given me so many words of wisdom over the past week that we've been talking about doing this. And I really appreciate it, Wes. You have straightened me out on a few things, and and moving forward, I'm going to adhere to your advice. So let's just get right down into today's program, because I know sales reps just can't wait to learn about how to organize their day. But Wes, this isn't just about organizing their day. This is about having a strategic plan each day. And when does organizing your day start? It starts the night before. So I always teach that you should take a few minutes at the end of your workday or even at the end of the day and just kind of organize what your schedule will look like tomorrow. Look at what you have coming up, what you need to prepare for, and just kind of get your mind in a visualization of how not only do you want those sales appointments to unfold, but how you want your day to unfold as well. Do you do this, Wes? I bet you do.
I absolutely do. I believe 1000% in the idea that failing to plan is planning to fail. And that is yet another regurgitation. You give me kudos for all the wisdom that I've provided you so far. Most of the stuff is borrowed from other people. I just want to let you know that I appreciate the kudos, but is just one of the little nuggets that I've kind of internalized and tried to implement in my day. But yeah, absolutely, I plan everything.
Well, one of the things that I get a lot in my coaching practice is people will ask me, they need help in organization, or they need help with planning their day. Then when I tell them how to do it, they kind of, ooh, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And let me go through that with you. Let me run that down with you all. And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions as we do these live broadcasts, or even afterwards. If you see the replay of this and you just want to ask a quick question, hey, I'm here to help salespeople. That's what I want to do. And you know why, Wes? I never had anyone that mentored me. I never had anyone that kind of took me under their wing. And I had to learn it all the hard way. And I had to learn it by teaching myself, paying for my own training throughout the years, paying to go to workshops to learn more. And I want to make this easy for salespeople, because they are the most undervalued position in the business world. And so I have a big heart when it comes to salespeople and helping them in every way. So the organization tip that a few of you will do, some of you won't, and that is your good old iPhone. Go to your iCalendar and plug in every activity that you have throughout your day and set a notification bell. Even if it's a Zoom call that you have with a prospect and you've plugged in an hour, and then maybe you've got another selling activity face to face, plug that in. But everything in between, from the time you start your workday until you end your workday, every half hour or hour should be accounted for and planned during your day. Now, what most salespeople say is, well, I want to be able to pivot. I want to be able to be flexible. I want to be able to X, Y, and Z, which is why I don't plan my day. Well, if you don't plan your day, don't be surprised if you don't hit your monthly goal. Right, Wes?
Well, Miles Monroe, we lost him a couple years ago. Great speaker. One of the things that he said was, the manufacturer sets the rules. And if you have a car and it says to put petrol in it, he was from the Bahamas, so he didn't say gas, and you decide that you want to put orange juice in it, it won't run, So you can decide, that you want to, make a different slant on your day. But like you said, if you go willy-nilly, you're going to get willy-nilly results.
That's right. And sales, your sales process, I just keep this in mind. Your sales process is very planned out, right? From the time that you get the lead to you close the sale. You have all of that entire sales process planned out. Why wouldn't you plan your day then around those sales processes? So here's another rule of thumb too, which this is 100% across the board, Wes, that this has happened to me. When I go in and train and coach sales teams, this has happened 100% of the time. Less than 30% of any sales professional's activities during the day are selling activities where they actually have face-to-face or Zoom meetings where they're selling. Only 30%. And they wonder why they can't meet their goals. On an average, depends on the industry, but on the average, 60% of your day should be selling activities. Now, one of my teams that I completely turned around their activities, I hesitate to say this because it just sounds so outlandish, but I've got the case studies that I can prove this. They had a 68% increase in sales, all because I reorganized each salesperson's day. They were selling on a whole less than 20% of their day on a whole. Once I got that flipped around to where they were selling at least 60% of their day in selling activities, the sales just started skyrocketing. And I have an actual case study to show this. So when I go in and look at a sales team, that's the first thing I look at is how are they organizing their day? Because it's so critical. Now, other teams have had 40% increases, 30% increases. I used the 68% to lead with because most people goes, how is that possible? I can show you through the case studies. It really comes down to organizing your day. If you want to have an increase in sales, organize your day better. Have more selling activities during the day. Now, the other thing, I got to go look at my cheat sheet here because I cannot rely on my memory. So when you have a sales call coming up, whether it's a face-to-face or Zoom, before you get on that phone call, and maybe you do this, Wes. I do it all the time. I do it even before I go in to meeting someone for dinner. I sit and I think about, how do I want this to unfold? So you're organizing how it's going to go in your mind as well. And it's such a powerful tool to do this. I know this is going to sound hard to believe, but I'm an introvert. And I'm actually a shy person. So if I was going to go into a networking event, I'd have to sit in my car, even to this day, sit in my car and talk to myself about being more outgoing, about being more conversational, about meeting people. And even, Wes, on a baby shower that I went to for my daughter-in-law over the weekend, I sat in my car before I went in there, and it's like, Christine, don't forget to talk to people. Don't forget to introduce yourself. Because I would be the wallflower hugging the wall. So having those conversations before a sales call, before you go into a networking event, you're organizing your mind as well. How do you do that, Wes?
I do the same thing. Lots and lots of self-talk, kind of a rundown of, what's going to happen, what's a preemptive strike, that I'm ready for to present with somebody. And, it's kind of funny because whether it's my kids with, high school back in the day or now with college, going into a client's meeting or just, talking with my wife and I, the one thing that I can guarantee is that if I am a fly on the wall for a day with you, I could find a countless amount of hours, that could be put toward whatever it is that you're wanting to do, whether it's health, family, finances, whatever, just because there is a great chance that you fall down a rabbit hole just on this call. That we're doing this video. I've heard your either messenger or something beep. It's something that is very, very quick for a salesperson to go down a rabbit hole, because today there's probably people talking about the Bills injury. There's people talking about something, what did you do over New Year's? What'd you get for Christmas? Next thing you know, they're down a rabbit hole. They're looking for stuff on Amazon that they need maybe at the office, but hey, while I'm on there, I'll also shop. Next thing you know, an hour's gone by. So it's little things like that if you've done the blocking and tackling of your day, you don't fall into those rabbit holes, because okay, at this time, I'm supposed to be doing a block of whatever that is. And so I can't agree with you more.
Yeah, speaking of the NFL, as I told you, I was on a call earlier today at noon, and 10 minutes of that was on Damar Hamlin's injury. And we were talking about him and praying for him. And I'd never met this guy before, this client before, and we were already bonding over a tragedy,
Right.
So, and you have to have those types of connections when you're talking to people too. But you're so right, Wes. Now, another area that gets, I would say, neglected more is organizing your emails. Really? Have you ever heard of the zero inbox theory, Wes? Do you do that?
I do. I do it with both my email, and I also do it with, I use a kind of a scheduling and organization tool that's called Todoist. And not only do you try to get to zero, but they have gamified the process to where they give you karma points. And you can kind of go up, you're an achiever, you're awesome, and it keeps going up and up until, you get this, master planner, kind of a thing. And I think that if you can kind of challenge yourself every day to get down to zero, get down to, having completed all your tasks, or to get that, virtual gold star on your paper, You strive for it and you want it every day. And if you don't do that, then your day's willy nilly. And again, willy nilly doesn't pay the bills.
That's right, and I love it because it's an accountability behavior changer. That app you're talking about. Organizing emails is just one of those things that a lot of people struggle with. And it's something I struggled with too until I started doing the zero inbox. And the next time we do this live, Wes, I will have all of my notifications turned off.
Well, it's the price of business. I mean, I don't apologize anymore, Christine. If you hear a dog bark, if somebody yells down and asks a question, right now, this is the new workplace. Whether or not everybody gets to do it and continue it is one thing, but you and I both work from home, and sometimes the business and the personal creep in. It doesn't make the information any less awesome.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Wes. On organizing emails, this is something that I learned in my years in the professional world. And for 4 decades, I was in the insurance industry and I sold a variety of products as a corporate insurance account executive, mostly in group benefits. But the reason why I say that is because I, on a daily basis, would get anywhere from 300 to 350 emails a day. I mean, it was a lot. Plus, I was out. We were required to make 10 face-to-face appointments a week. So my day was either in front of a client or it was answering emails and returning phone calls. Nowadays, this drives me crazy. I'll just admit it. It drives me crazy. I send an email and I don't get a reply for 2 or 3 days. I had one person tell me that not to expect any responses from her in 72 hours. I'm going, I got questions I need answered. So if you're treating me this way, how are you treating your customers? 72 hours. Everybody thinks they're so busy. Everybody thinks their circumstances are different. They're more busy than everybody else. We're all busy. But common professional courtesy, folks, is you answer your emails by the end of the business day. Even with my coaching clients, I'll tell them that even if they call and I can't pick up the call, or they have a question, they email me, I tell them I will get back to them by the end of the business day. And I have never failed doing that. And I'm just as busy as everybody else. So you should always, your clients externally are important, but your internal clients, which is your coworkers, which are your partners, which are your colleagues, they're just as important as the client. So you should always make it a best practice to, answer by the end of the day, whether it's a text, an email, or a phone call, or at the very least, if things get really tight for you, the first of the next day. But it should always be a priority. How do you think about that?
Well, when you and I first started talking, the very first thing I told you was I wanted to have a paper trail, place where you and I could make sure that nothing fell through the cracks. I too do the exact same thing that you do. I do my level best to get back with people in a very timely manner. Definitely not 72 hours. I was laid up in the hospital last year and was answering, people from my bed with my phone. The trains have got to keep running, regardless of, what's going on. The client doesn't know that, they don't, and nor do they care. what's going on. They might emphasize, have empathy, for you that something's going on, but, they hired you because they have to have the trains running, and so the approach that I try to do is I try to very much be a PA, to people and make them the star, and then, serve them up as timely and as professionally as I possibly can, because that's what they hired me to do. I'm basically there to make them look good. So if you go that long, without getting back to somebody, there's probably somebody knocking on their door that says, "Hey, does Wes not get back to you within, that amount of time?" I do, and next thing you know, you're contacting me and saying, "Hey, Wes, it's been real." So that's why I do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Wes. If it's not a big deal to you, well, it is a big deal to your competitor, and they'll swoop in and they'll take that client right from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those are your organization tips that I wanted to share with you today, but we're going to pivot real quickly here to something else. And I am working with Wes on a lot of different deals. Um, Wes, I get asked this all the time. Why do you put out so much content for free? And and I have a lot of content out there. I have a YouTube channel with over 300 YouTube videos that help you close deals. I have a blog on my website, uh, ChristineHarrington.com, that has all kinds of, I think well, actually, I weeded out some. I think I have about 150 to 200 posts on selling. If you're a reader and you prefer reading and not watching YouTube videos. Plus, I have my newsletter that comes out once a week called Focus Drop. And it's just that. It's focusing on one thing to work on all week. It's called the Focus Drop. And there you can see the newsletter sign up. If you're not on that newsletter, Wes, I get replies from people all the time thanking me for the information, that it was good, and that they shared it with their team. So if you're a sales manager, sign up and distribute it to your team. I mean, why not? Why not give them as much information as you can? What else am I working on, Wes?
Well, you've got an upcoming book that you want to tell people about.
Yes, it's called The Missing Link. And this is what I find one of the missing links. The missing link is salespeople staying consistent in their sales. So they're not like killing it one month, the next month they've dropped to nothing. The next month it's kind of average. The next month may drop again. This is about how to keep you consistent, but there is a missing link that nobody ever talks about. And this is all case studies and examples of what I have observed in the 8 years I've been coaching and training. People, it doesn't matter who they are, what industry they come from, there's certain behavior patterns that I have noticed that successful people do, the high performers do, and the average mediocre performers don't do. The high performers have very different patterns of behavior than the average performer. So this book really details that information to help the average people to rise to the high performers. And one of the things I noticed, Wes, is I have seen salespeople, same talent, same level of education, same exact training, and one will be the high performer, the other one will just hover around average. That always baffled me. Why is this happening? And that's when I went on my search to figure out what was going on. And that's what the book's all about.
Well, success leaves clues, so if you are modeling people that are out there tearing it up, that's who you want to, model. I mean, I always say this as an example, but I mean, if you want to get good at tennis, you don't go down the street and find the kid that, is knocking tennis balls out, of the court, playing around. You want to have a Roger Federer, type person, a Venus Williams, absolutely take you to task, because those are the people that are going to, make you better, because they're going to sharpen that skill and make you want to be better and get better. And then if you get better than them, which God help if you do, that's awesome. But if you do, you have to find somebody better than them, and keep going. Everybody that is awesome has an awesome coach, so I think that's an amazing way to do it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you made, because I say this to sales managers when we talk, and they'll always want me to coach the average people, and I'm saying, why not the high performers? Well, they don't need coaching; they're already performing. But you don't know how much higher they can perform, which is why Michael Jordan, who was the top in his profession in the NBA, hired a personal trainer and paid for it out of his pocket, Tim Grover, to take him to the next level. Now, he didn't have to do that. He wanted to do it because he knew there were areas in his playing he could improve. And that's why sales managers, you should be hiring sales coaches to coach your high performers.
The most dangerous saying that any place can ever have, Christine, I say this routinely on my safety podcast, is that's the way we've always done it. If you hear somebody say that as an excuse, there is an infinitesimal amount of improvement that place can make somewhere. And the reason why is because they've been doing the old guard stuff for so long and calling it, routine, that they don't even look at the idea of constant, never-ending improvement. The whole 5S methodology doesn't just apply, to factories. People need to implement that in everyday life. So if someone tells you, they don't need it, they're already performing. I'm with you. That everyone needs it. If you say you don't need improved upon, you're silly.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Even as long as I have been selling for over 4 decades, I still read sales books. I'm still trying to figure out what other things that I can learn that I can pass on. Kirsten says, never stop learning. She's one of those. She's such a good sales rep. She never stops learning. And whatever she learns, she implements. She's so good about that. So the next thing that we're going to be, Wes, it's my course. I saw Kirsten and it just flustered me. Kirsten, you flustered me. But one of the things that we'll be rolling out in first quarter is my cold calling sales course, with the testimonial of one of the business owners that I cold call for, that substantiates that I closed 26 deals in 9 days. And a lot of people is like, whoa, what? And she'll tell you that I did. And she asked me to stop cold calling because they didn't have enough staff to support what I was selling. So, and I'm still cold calling for her, matter of fact. And I enjoy it too. So I'm going to teach you to do what I did. And I'll do a disclaimer. Yes, those are unusual results. You may not have the same results. But would you take 10 sales in 30 days? Because I just did that too. So one of the reasons the cold calling course is coming out, it'll be both written and video. So the book right now is with an editor. Uh, Christine Chrisleep, who is an unbelievable writer, is editing my book, and she will also be editing the course too. So you've got those things to look for in first quarter 2023. Hey, Randy. Yeah, you're our pals too. The other thing that Wes and I have talked about, you know, I can write all the books, courses, YouTube videos, live streaming that we do. It gives you surface knowledge. This little organizational tips today gives you surface knowledge, gets you started, gets you on your way. But if you really want to deep dive into doing more and selling more, that's where coaching is so crucial to your success. So in 2023, really think about, do you need a personal sales coach? Whether it's me or someone else, I want to encourage you to look into that, because I'll tell you, you will be more successful when you've got a coach right there with you in the trenches working with you. And I'm not one of these people who writes about what I did 20 years ago. I'm doing these things every day now. Whatever you hear from me, I'm doing. So I'm working with you in the trenches. And that's why our relationship will be so valuable.
And I really like the fact that you threw in the you're doing the stuff that you say you're doing. There are so many people out there, and no names mentioned, that are kind of regurgitating the same old, same old. Now, with that said, you and I spoke about this the other day, Christine. A lot of the things that are old are coming back because they need to. There's a lot of things that, sending a greeting card, writing a handwritten note. Oh my gosh, write a note. I mean, young people don't even know how to write cursive. So to sit down and write a note is oblivious to them. But there's some things that work, and there's some things that, what's old is right back. I mean, it's the bell bottoms of sales. It comes back. And so, these little things that you tell people, and the blocking, the tackling, the pitfalls that you've been through, that you can say, listen, you can do all that, but just listen to this, and I'll help you avoid all that. I'll help you, kind of navigate the wilderness. I've already got the arrows in my back. You don't need to, and I think that if somebody realizes that, and they go and they pursue someone like yourself, or like you said, somebody else, I personally would pick you, they're going to learn the ways to do it from somebody that does it every day, not somebody that writes about it and profits off by the book to find out how I tell you to do it. I do it, and I think that that's so important. And, something else to address that you brought up a few minutes ago, and that is, why does somebody keep providing stuff for free? If you are a fan of Gary Vaynerchuk and his teachings, not the cussing and the over the top crazy, the fundamentals that he teaches, from his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, that it's that jab, jab, jab that's the free, to where when you finally do deliver that right hook is saying, okay, if you've liked all the jabs and the free stuff, when I finally deliver that right hook and ask you to actually pry open your wallet, it's going to be so worth it that you're not even going to ask. And that right hook is going to knock you out. It's going to give you something that when you wake up and they hit you with the smelling salts, you're going to go out there and sell your butt off. So I think that having a mentor, having a salesperson like yourself coach you and make you better, or belonging to a mastermind group, or whatever the case may be, anything that sharpens you and makes you better is an investment worthwhile.
Well, thank you, Wes. And I know we're running out of time now. So any last thoughts before we wrap it up because we're going to be doing this every Monday at this time. So I want you to be prepared that it will happen on Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern time every single week. And I'm just so thankful to work with Wes. And I want to also say to you all, God bless you. And I really, really appreciate you as followers. And I appreciate all the comments and the emails that you send me. I do. So, Wes, anything before we go?
The biggest thing is social media is social. So when you're connecting and engaging, and hopefully engaging with, with Christine or myself or anybody that you're dealing with out there in business, when Christine shares a tip on sales, share back. Let us know what's working for you. What are the wins that you've gotten? What's something that you have found that is the missing piece of the puzzle that just absolutely brought you a win this week? Because those wins are going to add up and add up and add up. We'll share it out to people, and it'll just keep sharing and taprooting down. And when it's all said and done, we'll be out there kicking butt and taking initials because we don't have time to take names.
Well, thank you, Wes. Well, remember, if you all have seen my YouTube videos, you know how I end. And that is, sales is a journey. It's not a quick trip around the block. So I'll see you next Monday at 1 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.